Three top House Democrats say they want an investigation into whether U.S. federal agents abused emergency authority when they cracked down on peaceful anti-police protesters last week in Portland, Oregon. Representatives Gerald Nadler of New York, Carolyn Maloney of New York, and Benny Thompson of Mississippi sent a letter to the Justice Department and Homeland Security Inspectors General Sunday, saying they are, and this is a quote, increasingly alarmed at the Trump administration's use of federal law enforcement to violate the civil rights of our constituents. And that's the end of the quote. According to the letter, federal officers driving in unmarked cars have detained protesters off the streets of Portland. The letter quoted Oregon Public Broadcasting as saying other officers have arrested, searched, and jailed suspects in the middle of the night without reading them their rights. That's a violation of the Constitution. Homeland Security Acting Deputy Secretary Ken Cuccinelli told National Public Radio on Friday that federal agents do use unmarked cars to pick up people in Portland. He said it was done to keep officers safe and away from crowds and to move detainees to a safe location for questioning. But Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler said on CNN Sunday that federal officers are not wanted here. This is a quote, "We haven't asked them here. In fact, we want them to leave." President Trump tweeted Sunday the city has lost control and says the protesters are anarchists and agitators, promising to protect federal property. Portland, and that's President Trump promising to protect federal property. Portland police declared a riot on Saturday night after some protesters massed outside a police precinct building, vandalized cars, and shouted obscenities at some officers. The United Arab Emirates launched their first mission to Mars today. The emirate is trying to develop its science and technology sectors as it moves away from reliance on oil production. The HOPE probe lifted off from Japan's Tanegashima Space Center for a 7-month journey to the Red Planet, where it will orbit and send back data about the atmosphere. The mission was initially set to launch July 14th, but had been delayed twice because of bad weather. The Trump administration is seeking to block congressional plans to provide additional funding to states for COVID-19 testing and tracing. The effort also includes funding for the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Senate Republicans are attempting to craft another coronavirus relief bill to fight the increasing number of COVID-19 cases, help people whose unemployment funds may be running out, and reverse some of the most damaging impacts on the nation's economy. A report in the Washington Post says the Trump administration's stance has angered some Republican senators as the politicians continue to work on ensuring the money remains in the bill. Preliminary plans include $25 billion for individual states and another $25 billion for the CDC and the National Institutes of Health. They also include billions for the Pentagon and State Department to fight the COVID contagion at home and around the world. Negotiations between Republicans and Democrats are continuing on what will likely be the last coronavirus relief bill before the November presidential election. Some countries that have eased social distancing and stay-at-home restrictions are seeing a resurgence in cases of COVID-19 as case numbers across the globe continue to rise. Hong Kong's leader Carrie Lam said on Sunday that the territory has reported its highest one-day increase, more than 100 new infections since the pandemic began. Lam said non-essential civil servants will be asked to work from home. She described the situation as really critical, with no sign it was coming under control. In Spain, authorities in the state of Catalonia urged over 96,000 people in 3 towns to stay at home on Sunday, shortly after they ordered nearly 4 million residents, including those in Barcelona, to stay at home. At least 7 people were killed and scores wounded Sunday in Syria when a car bomb exploded in northern Syria near a Turkish border crossing. That's according to the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights. The area in northern Aleppo province, controlled by the Turkish army and allied Syrian forces, regularly sees deadly attacks and targeted killings.